Hello, Asu. Can you hear me okay? Hello, Exa. Good to see you. Remind me, guys, where you guys are tuning in from. And if the voice is coming through okay without lagging. During the past while, we've been trying and there've been lots of lagging. So that's why I had to put a picture instead of capturing the screen until I learn and figure out how I can make it stronger. As I mentioned last time, I'm expecting a new modem to come in a few days, and hopefully that will help a little bit for the connection. Pascal, hello dear. Pascal, you are in Germany if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? So great of you to be here. Yeah, I just came back from some appointments, and before I go to the gym, I thought maybe we can spend half an hour, answer a few questions, and see how the live streaming quality is, and be able to fix it up later on the basis of experiences that I'm getting here. Wow, 3:35 a.m. What are you doing up so early? Ah, what happened? Nobody's talking. I'm still waiting for a question that perhaps we can have a short conversation before I head out and go for some exercise, and hope you guys are taking good care of yourselves as well and enjoying some exercise as it's very important for all of us. Excalibur. Oh, it's supposed to be Excalibur. You wrote it in such a tricky way. He says, I listened to your videos back in 2015 when I was going through a breakup. I could care less now, but I love your talks anyhow. Okay, as long as there's some reason for you to be here, that's acceptable, and you're welcome. Because as you know, I don't know if most of you have noticed or not, this whole business of talking about breakups, while it is important, and I'm trying to help as many young or older people in the world to know how to handle it, but it is a forum, it is a trick that I'm using to introduce the idea of learning about your psyche, how the mind works. What is the material process? What is thoughts? What is consciousness? What is desire, ego, and fear? How they're interrelated, how they act and relate and affect each other in the way you perceive your situations in life, which one of them includes the relationships and how you feel about it after it happens. But the main idea, my main focus and goal in doing what I'm doing, of course, one is to help you to move on with your life and be happy and understand how to handle and manage your breakups. But the actual focus that I have, the goal that I have, is for you to learn about yourself, about your mind, about how this whole business of consciousness and thoughts are working together. They're related. And what is the consciousness? What is thought? What is memory? What is super consciousness that I call it? And what is it in the back of your head that is talking to you? Is that a controller? Is that the one that actually makes a decision how you should be thinking? Or is it the thought itself that has created that what you think is observing what you are thinking? So all of these are real main purpose that I am doing what I'm doing, but I hope it will help in all different aspects of it and all different areas. I hope you guys heard it. I don't know if the quality is good or is it lagging, but I know when it's recorded, it becomes okay, but when I'm doing it, I'm not sure. So let's see, the quality here shows me that it is red, which is not that good, but on the actual OBS it shows green. I'm not really quite clear how this thing gives me such bad quality. So Assos is 6:36 a.m. in Oman, okay, and Excalibur says thank you dear. Okay, Pascal says so good morning then. Oh, I see. So could someone tell me, did you guys hear what I said, or was it lagging and you guys missed it? So says, I have a question. Yeah, please go ahead. He says, can you explain how one can use his or her ego in a good way? Also, how one can overcome effects of a relationship that one was lied to. Okay, the second part first. The effect of a relationship that one was lied to. Remember the word lied, ed. That's past tense. You're not being lied to now. And life is happening now. Whatever is not in the now is dead, doesn't exist. Why you worry about it? If you were lied to, it's like you went to a store and you bought something and you gave some money and they didn't give you the right change back. And you didn't notice it. You put it in your pocket and it came in. And 2 days later you notice, oh, they cheated me. Okay. They cheated you and you're still surviving and nothing big happened. There's no real damage. It's only your ego. It's only that you didn't expect to be cheated. You didn't think it's fair. It's according to what you're conditioned to think what is good or bad or fair or not. The expectation of the way you should be treated. Otherwise, nothing really has happened to you. Same thing here. You were lied to, but you're not lied to now. You're free. You're okay. You figured it out and you moved on. So what is it that you're hanging on to? What do you want to change? Do you want to go back in the high school or elementary school that you didn't have your homework, or you had your homework, you didn't get a good grade? You want to argue that? What is it that you want to go back to your memory for? The same thing here. Why do you want to go back and thinking about you were lied to? You okay, you were lied to and you just ended the relationship, or however it ended. It's no longer of a problem for you. So that's what you should be focusing on. How is your life today? What are you going to do in order to make your life to be a smooth and pleasant energy in that moment that you're spending today, every moment of it? If you stick with that moment that you're living and doing something, you will not go into your memory because you're busy doing, making, creating, and interacting with actuality of life. But when you think about, I was lied to, so big deal. So you were lied to. So what? Okay, so big deal. It's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection of the person who lied. That's the quality of that person, not the quality of you because you were lied. If you go to the store and you get short change, you come back, does that mean that you're a thief? No, nothing happens to you. It's not a reflection on you. The person who didn't give you the money as he should have purposely is the one who is cheated, or the thief. So really, it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them and who they are. That's one thing. The other part of your question was that, where was that? The other part of your question is how to overcome the feeling of that you're, oh no, what is it? I lost the question. Oh, where is it? The other part of the question is that, can you explain how one use his own, her ego in a good way? Well, ego is good in a way to a certain extent for you to want to achieve a little bit better than what you achieved yesterday in something that you think it's humane, it's helpful, it's developing, it's advancements, it makes life better for you and for the others. That's the extent of usefulness of ego, that you want to thrive and advance yourself in things that you want to accomplish. Otherwise, there is no use to it. It is just a nuisance. It is just a burden, and you shouldn't be caught in it. So imagine the ego will say, I'm too good to be worried about this. So therefore, I'm too high up. You want to have the high ground, that this is not to my level. That's your ego helping you to move it in a positive way and move away from whatever it is that was troubling you. Let's see. Now again, I want a feedback, guys. Let me know if this thing is actually having a good quality. Yeah. So the next question that I have here is, Excalibur says, I'm the only one with lag. Oh, okay. And Excalibur says, it's cutting every 10 seconds. It's driving me crazy. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I'm trying to figure that out. I bet you once I get the new modem, it will probably help out a little bit. But right now I've brought the bitrate as much as I could to match what my laptop is capable to put out. So we hope that will be fixed. And Aso is making a kind comment on how I look, and that's very kind, thank you. And let's see. Now I don't know who actually, you guys, some of you are from Oman, and some of you are from UK and so on. Sure how where everybody is, and I don't really know. The only ones that I can tell is Excalibur. It looks like your picture is a picture of a lady, and I think therefore you must be a lady. I'm not sure. The rest of you, I don't know where you guys come from, and if it's a lady or a gentleman, that would be good to know what my demographics are, so we know who we are really targeting as far as these sort of talks are concerned for helpful service. Now, Sino is new. Xenon says, James here. Hello, James, in Hong Kong. Ah. A little lagging, but all good. Okay, that's good. That's good news. Pascal says, no lag here. Oh, good. It's the modern of Mehran. No, the new modem hasn't arrived yet, Pascal. I'm still on the old one. I'm waiting for it. Excalibur says, here's my question, Mehran. Okay, now let's see the modem one. And he says, Pascal says, he said that it will be fixed soon. I see. The video is uploaded, fix it's done. Okay, now, Excalibur says, here's my question, Mehran. I have a form of perfectionism. Ah, join the club. It's a pain in the neck, which is partially running my days. Haha. Basically, if I get a new laptop or a new smartphone, if I spot a scratch or an imperfection, where's the rest of it? It prevents me from enjoying the device, and it's terrible. Any insight? Yes, I try. Can you answer me or answer yourself? What is the most important thing in the world as far as our psyche is concerned? You never, when you think about this question, never the question of something to be new, something not to be scratched, a laptop or a phone or a car, any of that comes to mind. The only thing that comes to mind The most important thing is you, the me. If there is no me, if there is no you, there is nothing else that matters in this world. You just take two of your fingers and close your mouth and plug your nose. You will see within the seconds that you will see nothing matters but you breathing. That's the most important thing. If you want to be perfectionist about your breathing, what makes you survive comfortably. So when you understand the most important thing is you, then you're definitely sure that you should not be giving priority and wondering about something else's health to be overly protected more so than you would consider your health and your well-being to be important. When you put your priorities right and understand that you are the master, that is a tool for you. Whether it's scratched or not, who gives a shit? All you want it to function well, and you would reasonably take good care of it. The scratches are part of life. Tell me, haven't you ever been scratched yourself? To the wall, you were, biking, riding your bicycle, or you were playing a sport, or you got in a fight, or somehow, or you were cooking, or whatever it is that you were doing, you got scratched physically, and also you got scratched by people who were rude to you, obnoxious, or trying to be manipulative. All these are part of these whole life. But what it is that all these occurrences helps you to become sharper, wiser, more experienced, so you can take better care of yourself. And you become more experienced. But the scratch and the experience itself is not important. What you gain out of it is important. So in other words, that whole business that we don't like about all the bad things in life is part of life. So is the scratch on your phone or on your laptop is part of having laptop, is part of having a cell phone, is part of having a bicycle. It's no different than saying, I have a new bicycle, I want to ride it, but I don't want its tire to get used, to get worn out, to touch the ground, to be scratched. That's the nature of it. It's there to be scratched so you can get from point A to point B. Now, the laptop and the cell phone also are there to get you from point A to point B the way you use them. And the scratching in different ways is also part of owning one. Otherwise, neither we can stay in our own brand new wrapping when we are living in this world, because we have to deal with the elements and nature and things that happens and people and so on, and interact with them and communicate with them, and figure out what we should do to get things in a proper way rolling. And the same thing with your iPhone, or these are tools. You should not give them more value than you give to yourself. They are supposed to be serving you. So if they get scratched, good. Better them to get a scratch than you. I mean, which one did you want? Your finger to get scratched or that thing? It happens. And that's not something you should be focused on. And being perfectionist, all it does, it makes you feel like things and results of things are more important than why you do them. Because through producing something, there's certain procedures and certain pros and cons takes place. And that is not as important as why you want it done. So you focus on why you want it done, and what happens through that journey of getting it done and producing it and accomplishing it is not that important really, as far as keeping that apparatus in tip-top shiny shape. That's worth nothing. It's not alive. Worry about things that are alive, not things that are just made out of material. They're supposed to serve you. So Get that perfectionist thinking out of your head, because that just limits you from moving. Because if you want to put your feet exactly on the seam of the block underneath your feet, you will be focusing on where you're putting your foot rather than where you're going. So your focus will change, and therefore you won't even be able to accomplish your goal as good as you planned it, because you're constantly looking where you're putting your foot rather than where you're actually going. Your foot will do its job. You just got to direct it and aim toward the direction that you go, and you will see where to jump, where not to put your steps. But trying to put your step exactly on the line of the square tiles and so on, these are all coming to become a nuisance and becomes to be an OCD. So it's no longer important to be perfectionist everything. You want to do a painting? Okay, be perfectionist. You want to do a surgery? Be perfectionist. You want to cook food? Be as good as you can, but don't go nuts. Just make it all clean and good and so on. But good quality stuff. But the rest of it is just waste of time. So focus on the fact that perfectionist in some things is okay, in some things equals to meaning of waste of time and not being efficient. Often perfectionist is opposite of being efficient. If you change these meanings in your head, the meaning of perfectionist, then you will not focus on it and you will not aim for it to accomplish it. You will find out perfectionist is also inefficient, and the meaning will help you to stay away from it. And perfectionist in some other things is okay. When you want to have a medicine, you got to be bloody perfectionist to find out how much of this and how much that to be mixed. Otherwise, you have to be balanced rather than thinking perfectionist is for everything. In some things is okay, but in some things is useless. Now, and remember, that's just the conditionings that you've done to yourself. At the beginning, you were not perfectionist, but you thought if you're perfectionist, something good will happen to you. If you don't do it this way, maybe something will not go as good as you should. So you actually have created this superstitious in yourself, and you've turned it into an OCD. But remember, it doesn't matter how you keep taking good care of that apparatus or not, nothing will change as outcome. If you put an effort in something, the outcome will be good. If you don't, the outcome won't be good. But it won't change because you did this way, or you turned the light switch off and on 5 times, and you have created this conditioning in your psyche as that taking care of the cell phone in that way and being bothered if it's scratched, it could actually have an effect on something to go in a different way. These are all what you have created and conditioned yourself, and it should be realized that these are nonsense, have nothing to do with anything, and stop them. When you understand them, what it does to you, conditions you to think that it's something right to do because I've done it so much and things have been okay, I haven't been harmed. Well, if you don't do them, you won't be harmed either. Try that and you will see it's just waste of time. I hope that would be something to help you out, to ponder on. Now, where were we? Boy, we've got lots of questions tonight, so let's see if I can catch them all right. So Excalibur, we talked about that perfectionism thingy, and Asos says also how to overcome the feeling of that our missing life, cause I feel it all the time, and at luck, what is it exactly? You're not missing life. You're just anxious. Because life is exactly that moment that you think you're missing it. That is life. But you're wasting it by worrying about something that hasn't happened. Because what you're doing, you're trying to reach something that hasn't happened, arrived yet. Remember we talked about that analogy of if you're standing here in front of a river and on your left side is the mountain where the water is flowing towards you, and on your right side is the water that has already passed in front of you. The right side water, the water that has already passed in front of your feet, is going away from you, going downhill. That's your past. It's already gone. You cannot reach it. Doesn't matter what memory, doesn't matter what it was in it. That water is gone. It's like your memory. It's like your past. You cannot change it. You cannot reach it. You cannot do anything to it. You cannot make any changes to it. So you shouldn't worry about that. Now, the water that is arriving from your left side, from the mountain towards you, that's your future. It hasn't arrived yet. You don't know what's in it. Even if you see something shiny or you think it's an apple in it or whatever it is, you can't reach it because it's far away from you. It's not at close proximity of you. You can't do anything about it. So that's the future. Again, you shouldn't worry about it. The only thing that you can change or scoop in and pick up something or throw in it or splash it or stop it or put a dam in front of it or wash your hands or whatever, it's right in front of you. The part that is passing in front of your feet, that's the only part of life. That's the now. That's the present. The present is the water is passing by you in front of you. The one that is gone is your past on your right side. The one that hasn't come and arrived to you from your right side, from your left side, that's your future. And what you do in your mind, you're wondering about what's in that water. I'm anxious to know. I'm missing it because I couldn't catch it. Well, you can't catch it because you haven't arrived yet. And you're wondering about, oh, the things that I've passed, I should have done it this way, so I missed it. That's, again, is useless because it doesn't exist. You're worried about something that is no longer in existence, and it doesn't matter what you think about it. That's what you're thinking you're missing life. Otherwise, if you focus on the water that is in front of you, which is focused on the now, on the present moment, you will know you can change it, you can make changes to it, you can make a difference in whatever it is at that moment that you're dealing with and at that day, and you will not feel you're missing life. Focus on the present moment, mind and body together. Your body is here, your mind should be here as well. Your mind shouldn't be in the memory, the past. Your mind shouldn't be in the future, which is the water that hasn't arrived from the mountain to you. And you just have to focus on what is actuality. And that is only what is happening at the very moment that you're dealing with whatever it is dealing at that moment on your daily life. We have El Hajj. Barry says, my ex, who I believe is a narcissist, I caught her cheating with cheating. We fought, then she started to devalue me. She get happy when something bad happened to me. I'm in college. She called my room. What should I do? What do you think you should do? If someone is devaluing you, is putting you down, that someone wants to manipulate you, wants to not appreciate your value so they can use more of your value. If you're not really that good, they wouldn't devaluate you. If they're not intimidated by you, they wouldn't try to attack you. They wouldn't try to devaluate you. They wouldn't try to put you down. So when you can see that there's nothing wrong with you, it is a reflection on their behavior and their shortcomings, their anxiety and their fear of that they're not adequate. They try to make you feel inadequate so they will feel adequate. They say there's two ways of owning the tallest building in town. One is to destroy all other buildings. Then suddenly you look like you're the tallest building in town. The other one is to keep building your tower, keep building your building, and no worry about what is out there. You just keep building, developing yourself. These people are not like that. They're dementors, they're bad energy, they're people of lacking characters and ability to produce and make something out of themselves and have compassion and love and extend positivity to the world, and nothing grows under their thumb, even if they try to cultivate plants, probably because their energy is just the way it is affecting you. However, you should know that when a person is making you feel bad, when your girlfriend makes you feel, what is it? Let me read it. Yeah. if your girlfriend is making you feel by her behavior, not committed, not honest, cheating and putting you down and all that, because obviously she goes and cheats, then he wants to put you down so you will feel devaluated, so you will stick and stay around, and keeps you hanging until she finds something in her mind better, and so on. So she's using you. So the question is, would you like to continue being used, or you simply want to take the control of your energy and your mood by simply saying, this person is not worthy of my time, and I don't want to be around someone that treats me in this way. The only reason that you're hanging around is because you probably get some intimacy, and that's so important to you that you think, well, you know, it's here, so maybe I put up with this shit. No, simply move on. As simple as that. If it doesn't feel good, that is telling you it doesn't feel good. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So she'll be more rude? She'll be cheating more? Or what? You're in college. It's time for you to experience and learn. So tell her, don't call me anymore. Go, you know, be with whoever you're with, and I don't need this kind of a behavior or interaction. I look for some positive and well-mannered and classy people who appreciate my worth and value and my friendship, and that's it. Don't be mean to her or anything. Just say this and then move on. Simple as that. Now, Excalibur says, it prevents me from enjoying the device and it's terrible. Yeah, we discussed that one. And now, Pascal said, El Hajj Barry. Oh, okay, you are talking to her. Now, let's see. And Sino says, Mehran, my question, we talked before and you helped a lot back in September last year. Would be hard for you to recall, probably, because believe me, there are like many emails a day and many live talks I hold and many questions, and I probably remember things, but not right off, you know, off of my top of my head. So let's see the rest of it. And the ex walked out suddenly, and I believe got with someone else immediately. Okay. The question is, while I'm mostly over it, we haven't spoken ever since. Why do you need to speak? Actions are louder than words. So you know who she is, what she is, and why, and so there's no reflection on you. She's just the kind of person she is. Didn't have the decency to break up with you, then go with somebody else. Not all, but most women do that. And I'm not saying all, because there's so many credible, wonderful, honorable, logical, balanced women out there, that this is not to mean that all women, but there are many women who actually, because of lack of confidence and ability to accomplish things that they think they should, and they hope somebody else accomplishes for them, they're always looking for somebody else, and they will always hang around someone until they find some other situation that would, you know, serves them better in their path, and then they leave this person. So often it happens with those kind of women that you don't even know what hit you, what happened, because last night she was making love to you and she was really cooking food and talking about children or talking about future. All along she knew that she's going to leave tomorrow because she has found some other situation that perhaps she gets more, I don't know, of whatever in it, material or promise or whatever that is making her feel like that suits her. But you have to focus on the fact that none of that means any reflection on you. It's a reflection on her taste, on her shortcomings, on whatever it is. Because believe me, if you are a Ferrari or if you're a Lamborghini and somebody suddenly goes and says, I like a Chevy, Well, just because she liked the Chevy, that doesn't reduce the value of the Lamborghini or the Ferrari. Ferrari and Lamborghini will still remain what they are. So it's not a reflection on Ferrari or Lamborghini what she has gone to. It's a reflection on her that she has no ability to appreciate this, and for her, that seems more logical or comfortable, or she can abuse that Chevy easier, or she can afford that Chevy easier. So remember, just because somebody leaves you doesn't take away from you, unless you think that whatever she does, even if she eats shit, that means that's the right thing to do. If you're of that kind of a mentality, then you got to go show yourself to some institution and get some help, because you're thinking that whatever comes from a woman, just because you have intimacy with her and some kind of a relationship with her, that's worth to believe that whatever she decides is actually right, and that is a negative on you. That's not true. You still are you, and it just means she has a different taste, and her taste and choice does not define you. And that's what you should focus on. Now, let's see. Some reason, okay, and then while I'm mostly over her, you said, haven't spoken to her since. For some reason, this troubles me. It's like someone died. No, nobody died. You're just thinking about that. She just left, and good ridden, and wish her well, and go about your life. I occasionally, Sino says, think of them. You shouldn't, because they suit each other. Just because somebody's shoe size is fitting these shoes, that doesn't mean that shoes is good. It just means it just fits them. Simple as that. Doesn't mean anything about that person's character, just because, oh, she can wear that shoes. Okay, what? So what? Doesn't matter. You still can find another woman who can wear the same shoes, if not better shoes, and looks even better. So stop thinking about her. The reason you think about her, because she's the last one you were intimate with, and therefore the first thing you think about when you think about sex or woman, you think about her. The pictorials of her is in the file in your memory. What you need to do is to focus on more wonderful charactered ladies out, that you find them in your daily life, or you talk with them, or you see them just pass by, how classy they are, how well they take care of themselves. And maybe even in a movie you see a beautiful woman with a good character in that movie, good role, and you make that to be someone that you want to focus on, rather than remembering this one, which all the pictorials are there in your memory file, and anytime you think about a woman and intimacy, that she comes into place. Change that file, and don't let that file to be the one would have priority, by focusing on how many wonderful chances and wonderful ladies in character and in looks are out there. And then once you open your eyes and you take the virtual reality goggle off of your head, which is your consciousness, your limited consciousness, you will see there's a lot more out there than you have experienced so far. There's a lot more out there than you think it is, and then you will see that you should not be limited to this girl. And even though just because that's the only thing in your memory doesn't mean that's the only thing that is possible and is out there for you to find opportunity to get to know them. Now, so you say, think of them, and while I've met someone, I wonder, do they measure up? What is that? I lost you. What happened? Do they measure up to the X, etc.? Okay, do not compare them. Everyone is unique, and everyone can be as wonderful or better than the other one if you see them for who they are. Do not perceive the new girlfriend or the new friend. Look at her as she is. Do not see her with the eye of the past. meaning do not see her with the eye of and the ideas of whoever the ex was. You already have to understand the ex was not a good quality. If it was a good quality and a good match, it would have been still with you. And if it's not, that tells you it's not a good match. Therefore, why are you comparing some new chances and luck that you have with a new person? Why are you comparing her? See her for what she is. Otherwise, you will never be able to get to know her. Are they Ms. Right or Miss Right now? Doesn't matter. What's important is that the ex is Miss Nothing. It doesn't matter if the new one is Miss Right or Miss Right now. What matters is that the ex is Miss Nothing, is neither here nor there. That's it. Miss neither here nor there. Miss non-existence. Miss not qualified. That's what's important. The other one, you will find out through time. What do you want? Somebody come and give you a contract that sign here, we sign here that she's the right one for you? How do you know? You don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she is not. Unless you put your best foot forward, best behavior forward, get to know her on consciousness level, and share times and discussions and so on, and see where it goes. Be patient. There is no such thing as a ironclad agreement that, oh, she's exactly what you want. Why? You're developing your dynamic, and she's developing, and you guys may be fine together and compatible, but not compatible tomorrow because everything is changing. So you got to focus on the now, get to know each other as it is, not looking at each other with the eye of the past, and then you'll have a better chance to know if in the long run this would be the right combination and compatible and complementary or not. And if they're good as the ex was, or just comfort, how do I not measure this girl against the last one? Why? Because the last one doesn't exist. And if the last one thing is for sure, you can't be sure that this new one is the right one, but you can be damn sure that the ex one is not the right one. So if that's the case, one part of the equation is solved. The ex one is not the right one, so there's no reason to compare. What are you comparing? You're comparing some possibility of a new girl which could be the right one, you don't know, with the definite with the definite situation of the fact that the ex is definitely not the right one. So why are you comparing the possible right one to definitely not the right one? Let the ex go. That's why there is a name for it, X. When it becomes X, then that means everything is X'd about her. Don't think about her. She doesn't count anymore. You go with the new possibilities with wonderful women out there, and there's so many of them classy and wonderful that you just have to give yourself a chance to get to know them. But don't try to make it a shortcut that, oh, this must be the right one. I got to find out. I got to know. Well, just go through it. Did you know this one was the wrong one when you joined her? No, you thought this one was the right one too. But later on, you found out. So give the same chance to the new ones. It's just not fair that way. Neither to you, nor to the new friend. So Excalibur says, that's hell of a way to look at it. Thank you. I listen to you in my car all the time when I am alone, and it's always pleasant experience. Well, I'm delighted to hear that, Excalibur. I'm happy to hear that. That's the whole purpose, and I hope that you guys will share the videos that you like on your social media, help other people to know that this channel exists and what it does and what my work is all about. And so we will get more popular, we get more subscribers, and people will end up going to my channel and go enjoy it, and my Facebook page, and visit the site, the mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, and then look at the books that I've written there, read the sample chapter, look at the table of contents. And the books, as you all know, it's sold on Amazon and sold here in bookstores, but in print they're like $100 that Indigo is selling it here in West Vancouver. Amazon still has the old prices for the ebooks, but on my own site the ebooks have turned into dirt cheap, like price of a coffee, $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, because There is really no economic agenda here for these. I want everybody with every currency in the world to be able to afford it. That's why I reduce the prices ridiculously, because I want everybody to learn these things and learn how their psyche works, consciousness and thoughts and ego, desire and fears, and to be able to be their own helper. And for that, they will gain something by getting the ebooks. At the same time, it helps the channel, helps us to, do what we need to do in order to promote it. But please do share the videos and let people know. That's the only way we can get more subscriptions and make this channel more successful, if that is something that you feel it's advisable and worth focusing on. HyperX says, my girl left me 2 years ago. Since then, I'm started to get addicted to drugs. I can't stop. Of course you can. You're more important than your girlfriend. You're more important than the pleasure that you used to receive from the girlfriend by having sex with her. You are more, if there was no you, there would be no pleasure of sex with her. So before anything else becomes so important and so amazing to you, it is you that is the center of everything, that makes everything seems good, pleasurable, valuable, interesting. It is all about you. If you're the most important thing, if you focus on that, then you will realize it wasn't the girlfriend, it wasn't the sex with her, it wasn't the feeling with her, it wasn't whatever you thought it was. That was really the most pleasurable, most important. It was always about starting, and you were the center core of how you felt about everything else in life, because you are the most important thing. Now, if you don't treat yourself as respectful and careful for your health and everything else, and allow yourself to be damaged by being addicted to drugs and using drugs, well, that means you really can't value yourself as you are. How can you value anything else? If you cannot value the most important and the most precious treasure that you have in this life, in this journey of life, which is you, if you can't really value that, take good care of that, respect that, the health of yourself, then how could you think that you can really value anything else? So understand, you're the most valuable thing in this life. You're the most valuable thing, more valuable than the pleasure you were receiving from her, more valuable than the pleasure you receive from the drugs. You are the reason that you feel whatever it is, good or bad, that you feel in this life. Therefore, take best care of yourself. Get rid of the drugs. Go find a way or treatment to get rid of that shit out of your life. That's not going to be helping you to get anything in life. That is like you have a fast car and you have its wheels impounded. You have its wheels stuck to something. You have chained it. Cut the chains and that drug is the chain. Get rid of the drugs. Go get help from your medical professionals there and get rehabilitated and fix yourself up, and then go into the life and pursue and discover and explore and find all that wonderful thing that you love and you like. You deserve it. Make sure you take good care of yourself, and that's what's the most important thing. So I know, and not in the I dismiss it, but I do wonder. Okay, that's okay. Well, I hope that what I said will help you to think about it a little bit, and I'm sure you will make the right decision, because you seem to be a smart guy that you just brought that up. If you didn't care, you wouldn't even bring it up. And I'm encouraged and hope that you will take good care of yourself and move on. And you said, I can't stop. I just can't stop thinking about her. I tried everything. I just can't get her out of my mind. Okay, well, we just talked about that, HyperX, so I'm sure that you will take care of it and do the best thing for you. I just mixed up the questions. I went to the lower line, and I thought that was the continuation of the HyperX's question. But okay, we finished with that. And we go with Sino Zen. It says, finally, it is normal for me to wonder if X ever thinks of me. Who gives a shit? It's a stupid. I know, and not in the now. I dismiss it, but I do wonder. Okay, that's for question how. Well, you know, we've already discussed that. You shouldn't wonder. You should just focus on your moments, your life. That's what's reality. The rest of it is just illusion, and don't waste your time on illusions, whether it's in the past or in the future. Just focus on what's actuality, and actuality is only happening in the now. Okay, Asa say, oh man, I have lost what? I've lost the question. I've lost the questions. Okay. Asa says, Mehran, marry me. Well, first of all, I hope you're a woman, because I can't tell. So then at least it would be a proper proposition. Let's see. Let's go to the next question. I'm 23. I'm 23, but we can work it out. Thank you for your... my ex said, Aso, I lied to you, and that his ex and him. Oh, I see. Then obviously now I know that you are a lady. My ex said, Aso, I lied to you, and that his ex and him, his ex, I don't get it. His ex and him took space and they are getting back together. His ex and him, back together. Soon, that's after we have been together for 1 month. And Soy was left confused and hurt. How to move on? I'm not really following the question, Aso. I think we discussed it, but I'm going to go to the next question, which is your next part of your question. So says, like, I don't know now what's next. Wanted to work things and get this thing right. He stated that he is waiting for her. Mehran, I still have feelings for him. I see him in classes. How should I react? I see. Well, you have feelings for him. It's not for him. It's for the memory of him. It's for the idea of you and him when you were together. You're not liking the guy for the fact that he has done what he has done and he has left or whatever, that you guys are not together and all that. You can't. You can't be liking someone who is not true to you. So what it is that you're thinking of is the idea of this guy, the memory of what it was, and you got to realize that the memory you have of the guy is not the guy. The memory was different time, different thing, and it's a movie of a theater that was being made, and at the time it was okay. Now you're reliving and relooking at that video that at one time the story was good, and you think now that they're making a new theater, that's the same story. This guy is no longer acting the way he was acting with you when you were feeling good. And now remembering all those feeling good things is like looking at a video that is not real anymore. So the reality is that the guy is not your memory. You like the memory, you like the idea of how it was, and because this guy was the actor in that idea, in that memory, whenever you see him, you think that's the same guy, that you were fond of him. But you're not fond of this guy. Look at him for what he is, and what he is what he does. What he is how he acts. What he is how he interacts with you. His interaction and his actions today is not how the guy that you were enjoying in the past, and it's in your memory, was behaving and acting. If you can distinguish this and understand this, then whenever you see him for what he is, who he is, how he is, not for how he used to be. So look at him with the eye of the present as how he conducts and how he is, not with looking at him, but yet bringing the memory file of how he was. And therefore you misconceive, you do not perceive him correctly, you see him with the eye of the past, you don't see the reality of him, the actuality of him, then you get fooled, and your emotional files from him in the past comes up, and you then think those emotional files still belongs to this guy. Now, this guy is a different guy. This guy is not the same guy. He's changed. Everything in this life changed, and you have to understand his look and face is the same, but his energy, his behavior, his thoughts, his actions have changed. Therefore, that makes it a different person. So, if you see it the way you should see it, then you will not feel that you have feelings for him. You have feeling for that, some guy at some time. This guy is different. So, understand that, and you'll be fine, easier to deal with. Now, Prince says, oh, hello, Prince. Just let me get a glass of water, guys. Well, I thought this is going to be a very quick hello and gone, but obviously we have lots of wonderful people, lots of questions here. So Prince says, hi sir, hope you are well. Thank you, dear. I was wondering if there is a exception regarding finding happiness. I do agree that happiness is already inside us, and we shouldn't look on the outside for it. But if you were a parent, would it be all right to base your happiness on the success of your children someday? I am not a parent, but I know this kind of happiness of a parent is a special one. Of course. Of course, it is very important for parents, for good parents, to want to see their children successful in what it is that they're interested in and a positive lifestyle that they want to lead. But that is one kind of happiness, not all of the happiness. There are many things that can bring some happiness to us in life. One is the one that you referred to at the beginning of your question, which is the happiness that I've talked in many other videos, that we got to look for happiness from inside us. And we've discussed that in detail. If you go and search for success and happiness, on the video channel, on the channel for the video title, you will find what I've said about happiness and what happiness is, and so on and so forth. You can even find a playlist of happiness, success and happiness, and then find those videos in there. But there are many other things that can bring happiness to us too. And one of the other things that brings happiness to parents is the success of the children. Of course, no good parents would ever want to see their children not achieve what they set out to achieve. And that's very important for them. It makes them feel amazingly great. You have no idea how wonderful it is. In fact, it feels better than if you were successful. When you find them happy and successful, it feels far better than if it was you who were enjoying ultimate success and the kind of success that they're having, or you were having an amazing success. You would always, if you really are a good parent, love your children, and they have turned out to be wonderful children, you would be just elated with their success, and that of course brings tremendous amount of happiness for a parent. That's for sure. There's nothing wrong with that. But remember, that's a different stage of happiness. The basic reasons for happiness for everybody must remain the same, and every other reasons for happiness should just be a gravy on top and become even big part of the total happiness that we talked about in the past. Now, Bianca says, thank you, Mehran. Love listening to your talks. Oh, thank you very much for being here, Bianca. I appreciate that very much. And let's see what we have here. John Smith says, my girlfriend lost respect for me and punished me for the last few months. How did she punish you of our relationship? it kind of sucks because I thought she was the one. Why did you think she was the one? How can you know she was the one? You know, most of guys think just because you sleep with someone and you feel that tremendous excitement and pleasure of sensuality and intimacy, then that means because you receive the ultimate pleasure and you feel the man that you think you always thought you are, that you're no longer manipulated at that moment, you're not being manipulated by the company that you work with or the boss that you do some work for, or whatever else it is that you encounter, the teacher in the school, or whoever is the authority around you in where you live. When you're being intimate with your girlfriend, you feel the total freedom and control and every happiness through the pleasure you receive from that intimacy. And that's why you think she's the right one. No, she's just, you have this capability of feeling that elation when you're being intimate in a relationship. But that doesn't mean you feel that way just because she's the only one who's capable of making you feel that way. No, you're capable to feel that way with any given woman who meets your standards. And thinking that because you had a girlfriend and you were receiving this pleasure, that qualifies her to be the only one that you can ever make a life, and she was the right one. No, she was just helping you to feel what you're programmed to feel. And then John continues, "It's kind of sucks because I thought she was the one. Everything was great. Woman, wow, nowadays suck." Well, not every woman. Just like there are so many assholes in men, and there's so many wonderful young men and old men, classy and well-mannered and educated, or pleasant and fair and just and, you know, caring for their families and for their girlfriends, their partners. They're also beautiful women, more beautiful than the one you've ever experienced, in spirits and in physical being, in their manners, in their education, in the way they take care of themselves, in their femininity, in their magical way of treating their loved ones, and so on and so forth. So don't lose hope and don't judge all women with one experience that you had. Everybody is different and every woman is a jewel. You just need to be the kind of a tool that you can shine and polish that and bring that jewel out of that rough, possibly, outlook. Now, Excalibur says, "I hope you can upload this whole stream talk to your YouTube channel so I enjoy it without cutting." Yes, of course. This automatically will be uploaded as soon as it's finished, within few minutes. And usually when it's uploaded, it's far better quality than when we're actually going through the live stream. I've tried that. A few other live streams that we had, they were really troublesome. Even when I tried afterwards right away to listen to it, it still had lagging. But it looks like about 24 hours after it was uploaded, or maybe a few hours, it was all smooth. It was no longer live streaming and there was no lagging. So I hope this will also be the same. Yeah, and it will be, Excalibur. I hope I would know your name at least to address you properly. But until then, Excalibur. It is. So it's written Exa Libor. So I call you Exa, at least. And it will be uploaded right away automatically. Now, John says, "She cheated on me. How do I keep this strength to ignore her when she texts, calls me saying she loves me? We are both in our 30s. Well, tell her the truth. Tell her, I actually did love you, darling. However, now that I know you have gone with another person before you break up with me, then I can't act on my love. I do not feel secure in the way of one of the most important ingredients of a relationship, which is trust. So I am not sure you can bring that trust back, because it's hard to build it, but once it's broken, it's hard to mend it. Simply that. Tell her the truth and see how she would react." Nina says, hello dear. And Sino says, "Thanks very much, Mehran. It was great that YouTube Live works better as I get auto updates, and this time zone works well in Asia. I see. So you are in Hong Kong, I believe, Sino. Am I right? Am I remembering it right? So that means right now, which the time is something, I think about 7 o'clock here, must be something like I don't know, 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Hong Kong. Anyhow, next question. I don't think I'm going to be turning this live talk into one question, one answer, because I usually like to do that. It'll be shorter and people can get to the right title rather than listening to the whole live talk. But this live talk seems to be so wonderful questions that I may leave it like this, because there are so many questions, and when I finish them, the same person continues the question and I answer it, so it will be hard to trim them and separate them. So I may leave it as it is. That would be easier, a lazy work for me. So Sina says, I guess, thanks very much. Okay, good. And Nina Brown says, how do I tell someone older that I like them? Ooh, I am 20 years old, female, and the man I am in love with is 30. Oh, that's not too bad. It's only 10 years. But remember, and you continue to say, I'm afraid to confront him and tell him because I'm used to doing business deals with him. You're still doing business with him. You got to weigh it out. How much does it worth to have the pleasure of getting to know this person and establishing possibly a relationship, and eventually maybe your business will continue, or even you lose the business because you guys may not hit it off. Maybe the guy will not be as serious as you are, or maybe he just simply enjoys himself with the intimacy that you may offer, or you get some enjoyment and then later on you change your mind, or he changes his mind, or something happens, the business is gone. So you got to make sure that you already deal with that question in your mind, that is the business something that you would be willing to forgo and sacrifice for the possible temporary, you don't know how long, a relationship with this man? Or is it better to simply wait it out and see if you still feel the same way a year from now? Because in the meantime, at age 20, there's certainly things that you want to do that a 30-year-old might not want to do, unless you guys can really hit it off on consciousness level as well. But most often, a 30-year-old usually might have already experienced the things that you just want to experience, and that becomes something about a conflict and division, creating conflict or division. Not right off the bat, because right off the bat, of course, he would be probably infatuated with your youth and sexuality and beauty, or whatever it is that physically your physical attribute is, and you may be looking at him from the outside, from his business manners or professional manners, or what you see, the limited information you have of this person by doing business with him, which is usually formal and cordial, and then you think that extends into his personal life and personal behavior and mentality, which could be totally different. They each have different images and different roles. As you know, we all have different images in our daily lives. You could be going to school, you have the image of a student. You would be coming out of the school, going to a shop, you have an image of a shopper. You could be going to where you work, and you have an image of a clerk. These images constantly change, and you may not be aware that his image at where you're looking at it would be something palatable to you and complementary to what you're looking for, but maybe his other images, which is in personal life, may totally be different, which that could be turning into disaster, and it will not really give you the experience that you expected. At the same time, you will just ruin your business as well. So I suggest you approach with caution, and do not I don't think you should pursue or confront him in any way, because look, a younger lady at 20 years old can be impressed with a 30-year-old guy who is actually doing business with her, and her livelihood or her success in business is dependent on her. So it's really not that you're totally interested in the guy, you're interested in the image of the guy, that you are turning that image into what the image of the guy in personal life is, and also you're giving value to the guy because how valuable he is to your business, which is helping your livelihood and your well-being. All of that is mixed up, making you think that you actually like the guy or you're in love with the guy. You may be in love with one of his images, but you don't really necessarily know. So my suggestion is that don't approach the guy, just do your business and wait it out, and you will see other guys who are maybe 25, 26 years old, 24 years old, have a lot more things in common with you. Or perhaps in a later that you see, no, the guy is really, cordial or respectful, or he approaches you and he asks you out, and then if you're doing business with him, he probably buys something from your company or from you, or you doing the same thing. I don't know what it is, but wait and see how things develop, and see if it's called for, because you may actually lose all the interest that you're talking about once you meet somebody else, which could very well happen. At this age of 20 years old, you can be impressed by any older guy, and you shouldn't allow that to be the determining factor for you to choose the right man, or think just because you're infatuated with some, you're a business lady and you feel many young girls think that they will be counted more, they will be more valuable, they will be respected more as a more adult, because they're just becoming an adult from teenage, switched over to 20 years old, and by going out with a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, they feel they're a real full-grown woman. Allow that full-grown woman feeling to come to you naturally, not by hooking up or attaching into a relationship with a 30 or 40-year-old in order to the idea, the image of you being with an older guy makes you feel like you're more developed and you're more responsible or experienced, wiser woman. Don't get fooled with that. Stay 20-year-old. Be 20-year-old. Be wise and cordial and respectful 20-year-old for yourself, and let yourself grow through your life journey, not by jumping to another stage, which may look palatable to you, but when you're there, you might see, wow, I still want to be 20, 21-year-old, and I want to go out with a 25-year-old guy. And so that would be a better match for you as a 20-year-old lady, 20-year-old young girl with a 25-year-old guy. You may say, I want to go out with that age to be your boyfriend. Anyhow, however, see what happens, but I don't think you should confront the guy. Let the guy, prove himself to you. That's my suggestion. And you will see if it's appropriate or not. I hope that would be something to be helpful to you. Bianca says, I'm learning that the way you bonded with your parents has a lot to do with the way you are in relationship later on in life. Do you think it could be an interesting topic to talk about? Well, it may, but it's, when you grow up and past a certain age, no longer is really how you bonded with your parents. It may have an effect of having formed your character through your upbringing, through your childhood and teenage time and so on and so forth, but it won't be you, because you are always dynamically changing, and all that affected and influenced to shape you, but it won't be exactly the same way. You will be a different person at a certain age, and you will adopt different outlook and different criterias, different characteristics, and on that base you will approach to bond with your partners and so on. Not exactly the same way that you bonded with your siblings or your parents. So it obviously, the way you're raised, it does have a lot to do with your character, but it's not just everything that you're gonna be as if you will not change through our life, to think that that's the only way you can bond, or that would be the style of bonding or depth of the bonding between you and your possible partner. And John Smith says, "You're the man." Thank you, sir. Okay, you're welcome. Now, don't just thank me. Remember to share the videos on your social media channels any way you can. That's the least you guys can do. And go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and acquire one of the ebooks. The ebooks are now dirt cheap. As I mentioned, $4, $5, or $6, something to that effect. And they're like, I don't know, 360 pages, 200 pages, 600 pages. These are, they took a long time to write them, and and the print book is actually very heavy, and of course includes the shipping. And if you guys put the order through, of course I'll sign it for you and send it. But I've made the ebooks, purposely created that so it'll be cheap for you all to be able to afford it. So that helps the channels. At the same time, it also helps you to learn the stuff that you really find valuable, as I'm sure you do. Exa says, aha, that's wonderful. You can call me Assam. Oh, Azam. Is it Azam or Assam? Assam is the name of the tea that I like. Assam is a very good tea from, I think, from Ceylon. But Azam is like great or something like that, I believe, as far as I know. But anyhow, okay, Assam for now. Let's see. David. Gee, you guys don't let me go to my gym tonight, I guess. We've got a ton of questions. I'll be quick. Let's see how fast I can go through this. Now, David says, the problem I have is being bitter. I no longer want her back, but I can't stop feeling bitter and wish that she will feel the same pain that I felt when she left me for another guy. David, if you're bitter, does it help your bitterness if she becomes bitter? It's like saying, I fell down while I was running for a soccer ball, and I will feel better if somebody else falls down and it's their feet or hands or the head to the ground. It doesn't make any difference to you how you feel. But what you can do, instead of wishing ill for them, feel that what has been done in the form of her leaving you is not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on her taste and ability to appreciate, or not enough appreciate, not understand the value that you have. So that means her ability to actually appreciate something good, if you're a decent man and a good, pleasant behavior person, her ability is limited. It's not to do with you. Look, imagine, I want to ask you all a question. Listen to this. It's actually interesting to me. I've said it in some of my videos, but perhaps we can, it's a good place for it to mention it again. Imagine a food, Italian food called spaghetti. The whole world pretty much likes the spaghetti. Some people may not, but most, like 99.9%, like spaghetti if they're not allergic to, to, I don't know, wheat or whatever the ingredients are in there. So spaghetti being what it is. Now, if somebody somewhere in the world says, I don't like a spaghetti, I hate a spaghetti, does that make a spaghetti a bad tasting food? No. The spaghetti still remains spaghetti. It's still delicious and wonderful. Still has the same quality and aroma and just nutritional values and everything else. It doesn't make a change to spaghetti if someone says, I don't like spaghetti. By somebody liking a spaghetti, the spaghetti doesn't become better. And by somebody not liking the spaghetti, spaghetti doesn't become not as good. If that was the case, then somebody says, I like shit, then suddenly shit, if enough people say it, becomes a favorite food of the world, cuisine. But it doesn't, because what it is it is. It doesn't matter who says I like it or who says I don't like it. Is spaghetti the same? Doesn't matter how many people say I don't like it, spaghetti still remains to the people who understand the quality and deliciousness of a spaghetti just as good as it always was. Well, think of yourself as a spaghetti. It doesn't matter if she likes you or doesn't like you, you're still spaghetti. So, it doesn't matter she left you. It doesn't change you. And you should stop treating yourself like if you're just ego and you think that her choosing would make you or break you, would define you or affirm you. Who is she? Who died and left her in charge to give you your value that you expect? And if she doesn't like you or leaves you, suddenly you think, oh, you're not good enough, or she dissed you. Who is she? She still gets up in the morning. She's still got this stinky mouth. She's still got to go eat breakfast and go do her things and go shit in the bathroom like everybody else does. I want you to become very clear on the people that you put on the pedestal and think of as angels and whatever it is that you think of her. It's all because of, not because how wonderful they are, because of that's how you want to think of them. So think of them as they are, and you will see they're another human being. And unless you bond on a consciousness level, and they're loyal to you and you're loyal to them, you're committed to each other, you experience things and share things, and you actually build things together, then you cannot think that they are really that valuable or affect you in the way they do, and you say they do, when they leave you. So who cares? If they left you, that's an indication to you that they're not the right person for you. They're not the girlfriend for you. And that should be a hallelujah moment. Oh, great that you found out now than you found out later when you have 2 children with them, or when you got married with them, or you were longer into the relationship and you got really attached, and your order of life and your mechanical process in life became as a whole package with them in it. And then when they leave, you will feel you would have felt a lot worse. So the fact that somebody leaves you is a good indication that it wasn't the right match, and you should be happy for it. Why should you be bitter? You have the opportunity now to find and look and search and discover fine and wonderful, beautiful, and more qualified ladies out there that you can bond with on consciousness level and find each other's company palatable and wonderful and pleasurable and joyful. And that is the name of the game. Otherwise, the world is far bigger than one woman or one relationship. Or if you're a woman, one man or one relationship. Or whatever your inclination is, it's not about one relationship. It's far bigger than that. There's a lot more that life can offer you. Stop this bitterness, because that makes you small. The hell with that. Go on and explore wonderful things that are out there, and they are out there. And once you find them, you would tell yourself, what was I thinking? To be bitter. Of what? Bullshit. Move on. Now, what else we have here? Okay. Sino says, you're right, Mehran. Hong Kong, and it's 11:39 a.m. I was sitting here sipping on a coffee, and a notification was popped up saying you were online. Oh, good, then good timing. Facebook doesn't do that, so I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, Facebook apparently tells you when I am online, but if you have clicked on the like of the page, I guess, to inform you, but and I guess YouTube does the same thing. When I'm online, it pops up and tells you online. I think there's a button here and there that you should choose in order for Facebook or for YouTube to inform you that somebody's online. Last time I put a post on the community what is it section of YouTube, and the post was there. And usually when I have a plan to have a live talk on Facebook, I would put a post on Facebook that there'll be a live talk on Facebook or there'll be live talk on YouTube ahead of time. But lately, because it hasn't worked well, I didn't know really if this streaming thing goes well. I wasn't really so familiar with it until sometimes I have a good connection and the bugs are out, and I'm still learning. Now, eventually, I'll post it up before it happens. But lately, I've been just doing it on on the spur of the moment, and that's why perhaps that would make a difference when I have a post on the Facebook and shows you the schedule or when it's happened. The more we have subscriptions, the more I can allocate time. The more we have like finances coming through, the more we can be more elaborate on organization and so on. Because of course it is proven to me that this channel is doing wonderful things for people around the world, and that's because all the comments I read and all comments I answer. And for the past 4 or 5 years, I've noticed that the channel has made tremendous differences in people's lives, and I'm delighted to hear that. And for that purpose, I am trying to commit a little bit more time on it, but it's all about finances and economics. If it does provide enough justification, and of course I would love to continue and help everybody, because that's the passion that I have. That's why I wrote the books that I wrote, and I try to do my best in sharing the little knowledge that I have of what I know for making people's lives and this journey of life a little bit better and smoother in their interaction with challenges and negotiation of day-to-day life. But hopefully it will be more organized, and it will be a more popular channel. That's why I ask everybody to share the videos they like on your social media and help this channel to grow. That's the only way we will grow. Otherwise, I've seen many of these other channels in YouTube that they have 1 million subscriber or 500,000 or I don't know, 2 million viewers, and I wonder, many of my subscribers tell me that they're not really effective, and their programs are really not helpful, but it's just make them feel good momentarily in some ways. Otherwise it doesn't have any substance, and yet they have millions of viewers. I wonder if those millions are real people, or they're through Autobots or whatnot that get those views. However it is, I want it to be genuine on our channel, and since we know it's a valuable service and valuable information exchanged here on this channel, I want to keep it that way, but I want to be more exposure for this channel, and that is in your hands, guys. Now, having said that, let's go to the next question. It says, Albert Einstein says, any tips on building new habits to replace bad ones? Well, the day that Albert Einstein asks me for advice, I think I've done something really important. But Albert, let's see. Any tips on building new habits to replace bad ones? But remember, building new habits and replace bad ones is all about how often you do the bad habits and how often you do the good habits. It is like this. When you're playing tennis and you keep playing it, the synaptic neurons are developed and encouraged. There are more bridges that is created between the two ends of the neurons that help you to become better and remember all your new learnings and your practices and how it's done in tennis, or whether it's playing piano. The more you do it, the more synaptic neurons will be encouraged and more will be created to make you better at what you're doing. And the less you play piano, even though you used to play wonderfully, and then the synaptic neurons, the bridges will be broken, will be destroyed, because there is a protein called, I think, called CQ1 or something like that. I don't exactly remember. You might want to go back to my channel and look for how to delete memory, and in that I've elaborately explained about finding researchers' article and explained it thoroughly in a different way. But once you don't do something like playing piano or playing tennis, the CQ1 protein is going to be used to mark the neurons, the bridges that are not being used. Like if you're not playing piano, the neurons that are specific to playing piano are not being used, the CQ1 protein is going to mark it, and then glial cells go and destroy it when you're sleeping. And that's why when you wake up, you're refreshed, because all these garbage and all these synaptic neurons will kind of crowding the whole garden of brain is now cleaned up, cleared up, and you feel fresh, refreshed. But as it continues and you don't play piano, you don't play tennis, they keep getting not used, and they keep getting marked and then destroyed, and after a while you don't play as good a piano or don't play as good a tennis as you used to. So when you talk to me about what you can do to bring new habits and replace the old habits will be replaced, will be stopped if you don't use them, if you don't do those old habits. So in order for you to get rid of them, just stop doing them. When you stop doing them, it's like the piano thing, it's like the tennis one, you will not be as good as it anymore because you haven't done it. The synaptic neurons will be marked and it will be destroyed. After a while, you don't do those things anymore. You don't have to replace them, you simply have to not do them. Now, if there are things that you like to do. If you like them, do more of them. They naturally will take over the synaptic neurons that were being used for the things that you were used to do, and they were not good because they were destroyed because you stopped doing them. And then the new ones that you like doing them, the new bridges were built to be used for promoting the thing that you like to do and you're good at it. So in that way, you're replacing the old habits by not doing it, and the synaptic neurons and bridges would be destroyed automatically through your system in the brain. And the ones that you like to replace, the habits that you like to do and they're good for you, by keep doing it, they will be creating new synaptic neuron, the bridges, and therefore you will be good at the new thing, and you will no longer be doing the old things, and you won't be good at doing them. So that's how you can actually use this knowledge to your advantage. I hope that would answer your question, or at least something to ponder. But go and take a look at the how to delete your memory video that I have, and that could kind of help you out to pinpoint it even more accurately. Now, X says Azam with an S, not Z. Assam. So just like the T. Okay, good. Wonderful. All right, now Bianca says, thank you, you're welcome, dear. And Nina says, thanks a lot for the advice. You're welcome, Nina. Sandeep Sharma says, how to think about life if we don't get what we love more than ourselves. And now how to deal with such situations in life and work with it. Look, you cannot love something more than yourselves other than your children. And so that's my opinion. You know, you can love your wife or you can love your spouse, but eventuality of it is that unless you take good care of yourselves, you can't really be as good to serve the ones that you love. So don't tell me just because you can't get someone that you love, which is pretty much lust, and it's not love. Love only happens when you bond on consciousness level and you live together for a while and see how committed and loyal you guys are and helpful you are and so on and so on. Then real love comes to picture. But what you call love is really lust at the beginning of knowing each other. And when you don't get that what you call love, which is really lust, so what? There's so many other ones. Recognize there's so many other ones out there. Don't think that, oh, that pleasure that I didn't receive, which I thought it's love and I loved, now I can't live without having. Why? So that means you can't live without having that pleasure. Because really, why you love that person? Because of the pleasure that you will receive in that relationship, whether it's intimate physical pleasure or the provision of what that person can provide for you, depending on what your gender is and what their role would be in your life. Is it So it's all depending on what is being provided, what you gain from it, that you think that pleasure gives you pleasure, and that pleasure is more important than you. It can't be more important than you, because if there is no you, there would be no pleasure for you to feel. So you is very important. So if you can't get what you think you love, well, so big deal. Go find another one. There's so much out there. Don't think that there's only one person that you can love in this world. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, be sure that you can love another and go search for that. It's the shortest way I can answer these questions. Now, Albert Einstein says, I'm hungry for spaghetti. Good. Go make some and send me some too, because I'm getting really hungry and I don't think I can go to the gym without eating something, and that means it will put me out for another 2 hours before I go to exercise. Now, David says, thanks, Mehran. I always appreciate the advice you give to everyone here, including me, for gaining popularity. Have you thought about using Reddit? There are a lot of people who need help there. I don't know what Reddit is. I've heard it, but I really don't know what medium it is, and don't know how I can incorporate my services of the channel into that. Maybe I'll look into it and see what that is, what it does. Is it a marketing company, or is it a medium, or is it a vehicle, what it is? So I'll look into it, and thank you very much for the advice. In the meantime, don't forget, just don't wait for me to do all these right things to get it all popular. You guys got to have a say in it and help out. If you guys think this channel is worth being promoted, please do share the videos you like on your social media, or my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Just promote that, say something about it, or put a picture of it, or whatever. Somehow, just do what you can, because that will help, I guess, the channel and all of us. Now, Sandeep says, why do nowadays people love face and beauty than a beautiful heart? Why they lose interest in attraction from beautiful heart and they choose handsome or beautiful person as partner? Well, they may use or choose a beautiful woman or handsome man as their partner, but that is no guarantee that that relationship, having chosen that criteria to start it out or approach it, would last, because the bonding doesn't take place in the physical interaction or the physical attraction of two people. The bonding actually comes later, which would be with the consciousness, at the consciousness level. So, but at the beginning, because our life is made from two parts, mind and the body, the physical entity and the energy, the mind, the mentality, thought, and the energy that flows through us from the universe, from the nature. And through the body, the mind feels the pleasure and experiences the pleasure. So they choose each other based on what's palatable and what's attractive to each other's taste, according to their taste, for themselves, individual tastes and preferences. So they choose each other based on looks and physical attributes, but then later on they will see, unless there is a bonding on the consciousness level, it will not last longer. But the initial introduction or encouragement to want to find out more and approach that friendship towards a relationship is the way they could physically experience each other, that when they see each other, and so on and so forth. So, but that's not a guarantee. It will always, if there is no backing of the conscious level bonding, it will never last. That's why so many people who are handsome men and beautiful women, they become attracted to each other, they catch each other's attention and start a relationship, but then they separate, or if they get married, they divorce. So what happened? They were both handsome and beautiful, so that means it wasn't enough. That's not enough. The actual bonding takes place unconsciously. That's why no matter what they look, they may not, even two people may not be really the perfect choices for each other at the beginning, but then later on they find, wow, they really are good together, and they're bonding unconsciously, and their love is created on that basis. So there's no real formula there, but at the outset, the initial attraction is usually based on physical, and hopefully if they would be able to bond unconsciously as well. If not, it will always fall apart at one time or another. So we have Sandeep says, sir, tell something about karma. Do karma exist and works? Well, I think it does. So that's a short and long. So I think it does. So there are many things in life that we don't have to fuss with it. If it's been not fair, or somebody's been an asshole, just move away from them and do your life and build your life, and don't pay attention. You know, I guess karma will take care of them, and that's the end of that. And yes, I think there is karma. I believe that, and that's something that is very soothing to know, because I can't really give proper justice to anyone who has not conducted themselves properly, or in their business dealing or whatever interaction with people all around the world. But hopefully we leave that to karma, and they will always get what they have sown. That's something that I could believe in. Now Sandeep says, thank you very much, sir, for your valuable thoughts. Okay guys, looks like we caught up with everybody. So before anybody else puts a question, I say good night to you. I love you all. Thank you for being here. It was a wonderful chat, and it was longer than I thought. I was hoping for about maybe 30 minutes or so, but I think it's over an hour. So hope you'll all be good to yourself and to the others. Take good care of yourselves, and look forward for talking to you again. Go to my Facebook page, like it, and watch for posts for live talks, whether on Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, and I'll look forward to talk to you soon. Bye for now.